Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How you doing? Welcome to the 15th anniversary, and today we've got a very special announcement. We're bringing in a new cast member, Milkshake 373.
Ubisoft accounts could kiss my fucking ass. So this I was about to launch into a story before we decided to just hit record, which is, I ever tell you guys about the time I took hours trying to get Kane and Lynch working on a Games for Windows Live account?
No, you did not.
During the bleakest days of every fucking... You may as well just start the game. During the bleakest days of every video game company having their own, like, bespoke launcher, Jabbar insisted that it would be a really awesome thing to play Kane and Lynch, a game he endorsed for completely baffling reasons. Also, why do we have to have a fucking bot?
Wait, like baffling reasons or like intentionally sabotaging reasons? Like, hey, this game's really cool. Why don't you play this?
He actually liked Kane and Lynch. He enjoyed Kane and Lynch. He thought that we should all experience Kane and Lynch together. By the way, $20 a hand sounds about right to everybody? Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, yes, Kane and Lynch. Right. So Kane and Lynch, for those of you who don't remember it, very bad video game, atrocious reviews, giant controversy also. Because they tried to buy off a bunch of publishers to give them better reviews, or a bunch of reviewers to give them better reviews.
I remember now if that was Kane and Lynch 1 or 2 that did like the whole GameSpot thing that like led to Giant Bomb existing. I think it was 1.
I want to say it was.
It's been so damn long.
Color. Or did I?
In that case. Anyway. Oh, damn it.
Oh, it was the first Kane and Lynch?
You...
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, that did not do me any fucking good whatsoever. Like, I will say, by the way, real quick, the interface to this game is deeply confused. Really? It's just back to me? Holy shit.
Were you unprepared for the high stakes, high octane gameplay of fucking Uno? Oh, jeez. Oh, no! No!
But anyway, yes. So we spent hours trying to get it working because he really wanted to play it, and I spent all this time like making accounts, remaking accounts, trying to connect to the servers, trying to reconnect to the servers. It was actively fighting me the whole way in a way that was honestly really preposterous. And at the end of it, I ended up with a Games for Windows Live account entitled something like "Fuck Off Microsoft." And then we got into the game, only to discover that despite advertising that they had co-op support for this co-op third-person shooter that is entirely co-op based, it is all about co-op, what they meant was that the Steam release of the game had split-screen co-op.
Oh, Jesus.
There was
very long before the whole remote play.
Oh yes, no, like, to be clear, this was unworkable. There was no technological solution that would allow somebody in the UK to play with somebody in the United States. So anyway, that's the story of why Jabbar likes Kane and Lynch for some reason.
Is that a story about why Jabbar likes Kane and Lynch for some reason? Because I don't think we ever got an explanation.
I also didn't. I think that he thought that it was a compelling depiction of really unpleasant people.
You didn't say Uno.
I know, that's why I called him out.
I called him out. Oh, maybe you did.
Should let us know who gets credit for that.
Yeah, it really should, so that way you know who to dox.
Anyway, so it's been 15 years since the show's been started. That's a long time, especially in internet years.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. I did the math, and in 2 more years, I will have been doing this show longer than I haven't been doing it. Wait, 1 sec. Okay, cool. So the thing about this game's interface is that A, it goes way harder than it needs to, and B, it's really confusing for that reason.
Yes.
I'm so charmed by it that I can't actually get mad, but... Josh, you're deep in the fucking hole, man.
You just noticed. Oh, good. We lost to a computer.
Yep.
We lost to a robot we didn't even invite.
If someone goes back and reviews the footage and the AI didn't say Uno, I swear to Christ.
Sometimes they don't.
I'm really excited for also none of us to ever score again. The AI to just win every time.
Yeah, man. 15 years.
Yeah, that's
I guess technically not quite 15 for you, Redscarn, because you came in like, I want to say April for Fallout 3.
Like in the sense that yes, in a few weeks it will be 15 years for me.
And Chris like didn't join for like 8 years.
2011? 2012? Something like that? I think 2012.
I think it was like mid to late 2011, so it wasn't that long after we started, but like, man, fucking 2010.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, I ate it, it's fine.
The whole games industry has changed a lot.
Like we've gone from indie games are just like a few things that are made by people who have names like Fish and Blow, and now indie games have kind of taken over the whole industry in like a way that's kind of cool, but not as cool as we hoped.
AA and AAA games are also risk averse that they're unplayable. Yes.
Yeah.
Which we obviously don't need to get into that whole conversation here, but I will say one thing that has made reading internet discussions of why AAA video games aren't very good anymore extremely aggravating is that having followed the industry for 15 years, nobody who's got theories they're eager to share knows literally anything.
Womp womp.
I think, you know, like something that's been really bothering me, I mean, for a long time, but it's been kind of thrown into, like, stark contrast recently because we've got, like, you know, a new Dragon Age came out after 10 fucking years, is, like... We used to get sequels to games. Games would have sequel bait, and and they continue to have sequel bait to this day. No story ever fucking finishes. But we used to get sequels to games every several years, and now we get sequels to games maybe once a decade, if the studio doesn't fold. You know, like
every studio is owned by like 3 publishers, and all of them can't take any risks because they spend the GDP of Lithuania producing everything they put out. And because they don't take any risks, and they don't have, like... It's all terrible. Let's see, hang on. Challenge? I actually have no idea what challenge means.
You're not allowed to play the neutral +4 card unless you don't have any cards of the suit that you're on. So if you challenge it and it turns out he has a red card, then... But he didn't. But you do get to see his hand. You do have to pick up 6 cards, though. Here you go. Try again.
Okay. Some spicy house rules in this this edition. I assume these are house rules. I mean, like everybody else, I don't.
No, these are like. I mean, I think of the default rules, the stacking isn't actually even a thing, but it's just something that everyone plays. I don't know about that particular one, but like this is an Uno branded game. Does any of this count as a house rule?
I mean, the stacking stuff is a toggleable thing. It was on by default.
Yes, it is. Well, everybody plays Uno with stacking. Who doesn't play Uno with stacking? I mean, I even played... Well, now that I think about it, did I play Crazy Eights with stacking? Maybe not. It's been a long time since I played Crazy Eights. Damn it.
You know, that one's for you. It was the right color, and I like the pleasing symmetry of it.
I would say it was not the right color, actually. Okay, you know what? Here.
Keeping it on... Oh, never mind.
Damn it.
But anyway, I will happily take the eradication of double and AAA games for the absolute banger renaissance in stupid niche puzzle games made specifically for me, Adam Rootscar the Camp.
It is kind of like...
I'm sorry, Adam Milkshake 373 to him.
Yeah. Rootscar has been retired. He doesn't exist anymore.
But, like, yeah, I mean, this year we got a new Golden Idol games, and The Root Trees Are Dead. 2 games about,
Oh, I just...
going down Google rabbit holes, basically.
It's quite good. Root Trees Are Dead is good.
Oh, good.
I don't have any cards, though.
Ah, motherfucker, I could've... No, I guess I couldn't have.
I mean, are AA games dead? Didn't AA games die in, like, the early 2000s, and now they're kind of back as, like, the big indie games?
Yeah.
I do not have any possibility of determining what a AA game is to such a satisfying extent that I'm willing to make a sweeping statement to that effect.
I mean,
I guess you could argue that, like... Yeah, I guess you could argue that, like, you know, you're kind of... Your AAA studios that do mid-tier... Like, games that are not meant for, like, to sell 10 million copies. Things like Creative Assembly doing, like, Total War. Might count as... might count as AA games for that technical form, but...
I mean, I like pointing to a lot of Devolver stuff. Things like Evil West is definitely more than what I would consider an indie game, but way less than I would consider a big AAA title.
Yeah.
Well, at least you finally have some human solidarity in sticking it to a robot.
I mean, the robot didn't win last game.
No, that's true, but I have faith that the robot is going to win on points.
I set the point cap too low, it's already halfway there.
Oh boy, I earned Ubisoft Connect XP. Wonder what I could do with that.
Oh, I've been getting those achievements popping up, and I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Let's see if I can open my Ubisoft Connect account without, Okay, I feel like I'm gonna be stuck here way too long. Here.
You are on a time. Rutskarn, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
God damn it. You picked the wrong one.
It was a 50-50 shot between my 2 red cards also. Alright, well that's 1 for the humans.
Actually, I won the previous one as well. I have won 2 in a row.
Right, but wasn't that like... Okay, hang on. Was this... My understanding is that regular Uno has like a first to a certain number of points wins things, and like you get a point by winning?
Yes. Yeah.
So technically, I think that was just your, like, the first actual victory right there.
No, it was his second win, but he's still less than half as many points as AI Snow has.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because it takes into account how many cards are still in everybody else's hand, and the first one I had like 800 cards.
I actually can't click on
the fucking scoring system works.
Oh, this UI is so bad.
There's a fucking...
Yeah.
Nintendo made a better version of this in the what is it? 52 Clubhouse games, whatever the Clubhouse games fucking thing is for the Switch, has a Uno with the serial numbers filed off called Last Card, and it plays so much snappier than this game, and it has, like, frankly, in my opinion, better balanced cards. And the AI is also just fucking nuts.
This game is gonna go nowhere until it's also Slay the Spire.
Oh, that's very rude.
So, what games have people really enjoyed, like, the last 6 months or so? I will say I had a good time with Indiana Jones.
I need to finish it, or like play it. It's one of those games that I've played the first 4 hours of and have not come back to.
Yeah, it's on my list. It's a Game Pass game, right?
It is.
Yeah, so I quote unquote have
AI
it.
Snow, can I ask you what the fuck that was? Like, what is this dog shit play?
What? I mean, you just...
I just did the exact same thing, yes, because I'm terrible at the game, but this is a computer. I mean, computers can beat chess, for God's sake.
I do hope that Chris does not have any red cards.
Don't we all?
Fuck.
Hope is an illusion. Man, I feel sorry for this Milkshake 373 asshole.
Fortunately, we have no idea who that is.
I plead the fifth.
What the fuck games have I been playing lately? I've been replaying Mass Effect for the first time in like probably since before the Mass Effect 3 season.
Are you playing like some kind of re-release or remaster? I literally don't know.
Yeah,
the
Legendary Edition. Yeah, that very convenient re-release. It makes Mass Effect a considerably better playing game. It has HDR, you know, looks better. Yeah, it's interesting playing that game again. It is very like the gameplay never quite feels great in Mass Effect.
God damn it. I don't know why I did that. I just need to keep people honest, that. Okay? That's my role.
Yeah, the gameplay never quite feels like very super tight, even with the improvements where they added weapons that, you know, different brands of guns have different firing modes. There's some 3-round bursts, some are you know, like a full auto pistol, for example. And that's neat. They added a junk button, so you can just mark stuff as junk and then sell it. That's great. For some reason, the game still has an inventory limit of 250 items, and every time you pick up a thing after hitting, I think 200 items. I hope you have one of these, Rutskarn. Okay. Damn it.
If you're ever relying on me to guard the wall top, you should
had
probably
so many cards.
find a better wall top to hide behind.
But the shooting itself doesn't feel great.
No.
It's like as a cover shooter, it's kind of weird. You often end up in situations where the enemies just kind of all over the place, and you're not really using cover. You're stepping out to like throw your powers down or whatever, or just shoot people in the face. You know, I imagine if you're playing in like the super high difficulties, that's maybe like you have to play more cautiously. But like at normal mode, that's not a big deal. And the other thing I'm surprised about is like, you know, I think about that whole paradigm of RPG with a you know, very bespoke campaign with, you know, your companion characters and everything. I remember there being a lot of like focus on the companions, but the companion conversations in Mass Effect 1 are pretty fucking brief. They do not go that hard.
Yeah.
In fact, I recently played, I didn't finish it, but I started replaying KOTOR back in the summer, and I almost feel like Mass Effect has a little bit less companion interaction that KOTOR does. When KOTOR does have the thing where like some of your companions just don't have anything to say, like Zalbar does not have stuff to say about anything that's not like if you leave him on the ship when you go to Kashyyyk, there's nothing for Zalbar in the game. But like Mass Effect, like, you know, you get Garrus doing his I want to be a bad cop. And that's like you're kind of, you know, either you agree with him or you're in I can fix him mode in Mass Effect 1. But like I was just kind of doing side content, and after a certain number of like, you know, encounters, you get like the next tier of companion conversations, and I've just been going like, you know, maybe you shouldn't like be super eager to just like sacrifice hostages, right? But nothing has happened storyline. I haven't even done his companion quest yet.
Shit.
What? You could challenge.
I'm deciding whether I'm going to challenge on this. Yeah!
Oh shit!
Vindicate.
This is like fuck this.
Well, actually, I'm not. I'm still screwed. That's interesting.
Anyway,
yeah, sorry.
I progressed in this conversation tree with Garrus with nothing particularly happening. Hey, there you go.
Dallas.
And he just decided like, oh, okay, you're right.
I unlocked a fucking
like, it didn't feel earned at all. It was like I had a little intellectual debate with him, and then it was like, yeah, maybe cops shouldn't be bad. Something that we know that he does not. A through line that he does not fucking stick to by Mass Effect 2, by the way. Oh boy.
Ooh, doggies.
But yeah, like it feels like more bare bones than I fucking remember Mass Effect being. I kind of understand now, like, why, to an extent. Why not?
Motherfucker.
Ha! I kind of understand now, to an extent, in what way Mass Effect 2 was somewhat innovative for like over Mass Effect 1, and that like I'm presuming now, I haven't gotten to Mass Effect 2 yet, but I'm presuming the conversations and stuff are quite a bit more in depth as I remember these games being, as like Baldur's Gate 3 is, you know.
You know, I forget when the last time we've had this conversation was. I think maybe I brought it up during the Dragon Age streams. I'm not sure if it has ever come into a full spoiler warning episode. But I'm actually on record as I don't like Mass Effect.
Oop.
I straight up didn't enjoy Mass Effect 1 and saw no reason at all to try Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, I am curious about your perspective going into it, though, because you did play, like, Baldur's Gate and probably KOTOR before Mass Effect.
I think
Empire?
as I recognize what it was doing, But to me, that's kind of it. Like, it felt like Mass Effect was applying a gloss of sort of cinematic presentation on top of a formula that I had already been enjoying just fine for like a decade at that point. A decade plus. So it's just kind of like, okay, so the cool thing about Mass Effect is that, like, it looks like a movie, basically, because everything else was something I'd seen before, except the gameplay, which wasn't very... I never found engaging. And I also felt that the world building and, like, kind of the lore and how the setting works, it always felt like it was choosing the worst of all possible worlds. Like...
Really?
You know, well, when it comes to science fiction and, like, space opera and pulp, there's all these different, like, extremes where there's, like... There's Flash Gordon type stuff that's, like, kind of goofy and is, like, clearly designed to be appealing rather than to, like, make any kind of literal actual sense or to tell an involving story. It's full of, like, psychotronic bullshit. And then there's, like, your hard sci-fi, like The Expanse or, like, The Martian, like, that is more interested in exploring, like, what is theoretically possible. And then there's, like, Star Trek that's kind of, like, philosophical and, like, contemplative. And it felt like what they did was they created... I didn't need to do that. I didn't remotely need to do that. What the fuck did I just do?
Well, thank you for doing that anyway, Red Scar, and I'm very glad.
I had a +2 I could have dropped on you.
See, that's my strategy to win this game. I get you talking about Mass Effect, and then you're not paying attention.
You know, I played a game, really nice game. It worked.
You were saying...
Like, okay, it felt like Mass Effect was... Like, it had the goofy, like, big titty sex aliens, and, like...
Yes.
Shoot bang bang guns, and, like, warrior, like, bugs of pulpy science fiction, but it had kind of, like, a dreary, like, aesthetic concern with consequence and with, like, the logistics and the, like, kind of the economics and stuff of this setting that never actually really had a strong hook on the gameplay or felt like any of it was particularly, like, something that you cared about. And every area you explore is just kind of, like, slick and nothing. It looks like you asked an AI to generate a science fiction environment. Like, the cities feel like shopping malls. The NPCs don't feel like they have real lives or real things that they care about. They just kind of feel like they're waiting around to give you your dialogue like they're Galactic Star Cruiser employees.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the case with most RPGs of that type in that era. As far as like the NPCs feeling. It's funny.
But like,
sorry.
But
continue.
the thing is, like, to that point, like, yeah, of course, like, Knights of the Old Republic wasn't better at that part, but what it was a lot lower fi. Whereas everything in Mass Effect has these, like, drainingly dramatic camera angles, these, like, kind of transitions, like these big, like, glossy, like, set pieces that I just didn't care about, that I just didn't particularly like, and that made the lack of interesting content in the overworld feel much more stifling to me. Yeah, fuck it. I would bet. I did that to Josh. Let me tell you, I would have bet $100 that what just happened was going to happen. It did not occur to me at any point that you were actually bluffing on that.
Well, you said $20 a hand, and I won 3 hands, so I'm at least at 60.
Did I mention that we're gonna let this roll into the 30th anniversary?
Oh, good. Are we gonna adjust for, like, inflation, or...?
It's going to keep accruing interest.
Oh, okay, alright.
Also, technically, I guess it depends on your definition of round. Just so you know, I'm bluffing.
At this point, I need to kill the NPC more than I need to kill you, so...
That's actually useful. A good strategic note. I'm not going to reward your kindness at this point.
I see. So this is how it is now. 15 years of friendship, and this is how it's gonna fucking... Alright.
This is... If people had predicted
Actually, it's probably 16 years now.
If people predicted what was going to Laylo, spoiler warning, and they put on their bingo card a game of Uno, you get a top prize.
The final breaking point.
We survived a website change, like 2 different host changes. Our streaming setup has morphed like 30 different times and not actually gotten easier once.
that is
no, Discord makes it easier.
Not by much.
Discord does make it easier. Not having to do like YouTube streaming.
For those of you who haven't checked in on this point lately, if you're wondering about our voices, we do not use Discord for voice.
No.
Because Josh needs to clean up the audio, which means that we use the best software for that, for isolating audio streams, which is specifically the obsolete version of Ventrilo that you need to dig around to find.
It's not even the new one.
Which we are also paying for. And possibly the only people paying for it.
I'm still in the lead, thank God.
What? Okay, target 500. All right, well, yeah, this any one of these could be the critical countdown conundrum here.
It's interesting that you mentioned like the aesthetic and the tone of Mass Effect is feeling like something that some AI threw together, because I liked all of those things, and I feel like at the time a lot of it was, you know, we were 4 years into Battlestar Galactica took over sci-fi aesthetics, like Battlestar Galactica and Firefly took over sci-fi aesthetics. Yeah. And like, oh, they're doing something that's a lot more Star Trek was like kind of refreshing. And then they started going down the like darker, grittier sci-fi, you know, route.
The Star Trek
with
Discovery
2 and 3. Yeah, of course that you know, the Star Trek Discovery airs its first episode 4 years after Mass Effect 3 comes out. So, but yes,
honestly,
that kind of that movement of aesthetic towards that was what I felt was like the series declining, because I liked the way that Mass Effect 1 felt.
I don't remember anything substantive, but I do remember that I have a lot of friends who didn't like Star Trek Discovery very much, and their criticisms of it reminded me a lot of the things I didn't really like about Mass Effect.
Discovery is a weird one. Have you seen any of it?
No, not a second of it.
It's a very confused show. Like,
still going?
They changed showrunners. No, it ended last year. Its 5th season. It changed showrunners halfway through the first season, and so like the first season ends up being this confused mess where like the first half of it is about one thing, and then the second half of it is about something completely different, and then it like comes back for the last 2 episodes of the season back to the original plotline. It just feels very confused. And then season 2 ends with, spoiler for you know, an episode that came out like 4 or 5 years ago, like season 2 ends with them going 900 years into the future and completely changing the setting of the entire show, which did end up like working better. It felt like they found their voice more with seasons 3 through 5, even though there were still like choices they made that I wasn't a huge fan of, but like it was better than the first 2 seasons. Although season 2 also gave us Anson Mount as Captain Pike, who's like basically like created, like did the groundwork for Strange New Worlds simply by virtue of his strong performance in that role. Everybody's like, yeah, I want to see more Captain Pike, let's do it. And Strange New Worlds feels much more... I mean, it feels very much like what if we made Star Trek The Next Generation, but, like, today. Some people don't like it for that reason, which
Josh,
I understand.
I'm sorry, real quick, can I interrupt you to ask you a question? How do you feel about the color green?
It's not my favorite color.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
How do you feel about the color yellow?
Trace.
What about red? Damn it!
No! No! Oh, he's still
no, good.
Okay, yeah, no, because the bot kind of phoned that one. He's like, all right, I'm gonna give you another chance.
I don't understand the scoring system.
Bot?
The scoring system
based on how many cards
you win.
It's based on how many cards your opponents have. That's got to be it. Like, it was counting those when it was adding up points for the.
Yeah, it might just be it might just be straightforwardly additive. We should check next time.
I can't. Well, it's got to be more than like individual cards can't be just one value. Or the individual card value cannot just be +1, is what I'm saying. It's got to be something other than that for like the point values to make sense. But you might be right. What the hell? But yeah, Star Trek Discovery, very weird show. I don't hate it. There are aspects I liked the last 2 seasons quite a bit. Not like loved them, but like they're pretty solid Star Trek.
I will actually say that is one thing is that a lot of people pointed out like, oh, this show's terrible, it sucks, but like. Most seasons of Star Trek aren't terribly good, or series of Star Trek aren't
Star
terribly
Trek:
good.
The Next Generation spent 2 fucking years. Season 2, they kind of figure out where they're going, what they want. But then, like, they didn't really become the Star Trek: The Next Generation that everybody loves until season 3.
It really feels like we're hitting a media landscape where the only 2 kinds of things that it can exist are slop and things that cost $1 billion and have to be good immediately, or else 1,000 people lose their jobs.
Or things that are good and still get fucking canceled anyway.
Yeah.
See, like, everything that Netflix has done.
Yeah, at least all the good stuff.
Not that, like, Netflix hasn't canceled bad shows, but, like, also they seem to just cancel a bunch of shows that everybody seems to like a lot.
I'm trying to think about, like, what I'm even doing for, like, finding new media to consume, and the actual answer, as of last night at least, was I was trawling Internet Archive for weird, bullshit, sketchy shareware from 1997 to 1998. I discovered some interesting things if you're interested in hearing my findings. Okay, I'm gonna decline this, and I need you to know it's not because I think you're bluffing, it's just because I'm angry. Actually, I meant to challenge, but fortunately I clicked the wrong button.
Damn it. Am I really the person you need to be hitting with that?
So stuff I discovered. This is actually not from quite that time period, but I did discover that from the period between like 1988 and the mid 90s, I don't know if it's one person or if it's like up to 3 individual creators, doubtlessly inspired by one another, made 3 different attempts to make a shareware Monopoly clone specifically for, like, boozing and having erotic encounters with your fellow players.
What?
It's like you land on a square, and it's like it gives you a card.
I'm in a fucking AI game.
Like it gives you a 4.
Wait. Wait, why are
I went to recreate it without the AI. I'm trying to figure out if I can.
I alt-tabbed to
I am
change
also
a setting
playing with robots. What the fuck?
I was trying to see if
I went to Chris's game.
Okay. So that was a user error. That's fine. I just thought it was a very strange design choice.
It does not look like there is any way to turn off. It is always 4 players.
That does suck.
Because
Uno is not a game that requires 4 players. Like
it says 2 to 4.
Anyway, apologies.
Yeah. Anywho, yes. Erotic. Wait, what am I looking at? Okay, great. Digital load screen. Yes. Erotic.
What are you looking at?
You get a card and it basically tells you like to do a thing. And I started looking into it, like, it feels like as they kept iterating it, they start getting much more elaborate, where it's like, okay, you can now, like, set all kinds of safety precautions. You can set your sexuality on a pretty wide spectrum for the early 90s. Like, it's like mildly bisexual is an option that they have. You could create custom cards. There are like various things for like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that one. I'm not comfortable doing that. So it just kind of lets you skate by as like a built-in gameplay feature. Like this was someone's Star Wars was making this shit work. I hope they got to play it with literally anybody, which I feel like is probably the fantasy that they had. Which I doubt was realized.
God damn it.
Wow. Ruskarn, you won one.
Yay. I've won another one.
Yeah, you won one in the previous set of hands. What? Challenge him on that. He just fucking played it to change it to the same color it is. What?
It's not a very good AI, or that was a trap.
I guess that, or it's bluffing way the fuck more than an AI should
because
be
it just
doing.
blew my asshole open and suffered 0 consequences. I feel like I just lived the poker scene in Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. Jesus Christ.
Let's do it. So this is basically what happens when Ruskarn wins a round, right? Like,
yeah, I've been throwing this whole time, of course.
I did tell you to challenge the other one. I mean, this is partially
yeah, you
my
did.
fault,
I mean,
that's
the other thing. I suspect Confederation personally.
I've joined with the robots.
I've still got the Ubisoft Connect. Camster's invited you to a game of Uno, and it actually has a timer on it saying it's going to be up for another minute and 42 seconds.
Oh my god.
It actually still has an option to accept. I'm just gonna hit it and see what happens. Okay, great. Nothing. That's what I was hoping for.
I mean, it could have kicked you out of the game. That's a possibility.
No, well, listen, I'm doing so well. It's a bit of a shame.
I'm honestly surprised you didn't have any +2 cards there.
I'm also surprised on the statistical level I don't have any +2 cards.
Stop it!
It's occurring to me now that not only is it entirely possible to do, but doubtlessly somebody for some reason has been bored enough to count cards at Uno. In fact, I would actually say there's a reasonable chance someone watching this video has counted cards at Uno before.
Yeah, it does lend itself to that kind of manipulation, but I'm not even sure how many Uno decks this is. It feels like a lot of cards. I don't know how big an Uno deck is, honestly.
Just so you know, if I'm ever playing Uno with any of you, and you win the game, and afterwards you say, I was counting cards the whole time, I need you to know that I won that. I won that game. They may as well print in the rulebook, the one who's not counting cards at Uno wins.
It's like the casino rules, right? If we think you're counting cards, we'll break your legs.
I don't know if the casino's ever broken somebody's legs for counting cards.
They get pretty serious about it.
When they were owned by mafias, they probably were.
Right, but no, when they were owned by the mob, they actually depended on only taking extreme action against people who were like full-on cheating. Counting cards is just impolite. They could ask you to leave. It's not like I don't think it actually falls under the heading of like a punishable offense.
Depends on how much money they lost.
Well, it also doesn't really work nowadays, because most of the times they just use like 5 fucking decks, and then you can't really count cards when, you know, you've got that many multiples.
I mean, if you had a
you can, but it's not as effective. Very rude of you, Camster.
Like, when the Mafia ran Vegas, they could respond harshly to people who were, like, doing illegal things, because it's easy to do illegal stuff to people who are doing illegal stuff. Criminals don't have a recourse. But if the Mafia started breaking the legs of some guy who saw rounders, which is anachronistic, but never mind, they would get in trouble with the actual, like, regular federal police.
I mean, as someone who lives in Vegas, everyone hates the fucking Las Vegas Police Department. It is, I mean, the level of unpopularity is truly impressive, even for fucking a large municipal police department.
Especially considering also that the population of Las Vegas is like 80% boomer by volume.
I don't know if it's that much anymore.
Oh yeah?
Certainly the rural towns are probably a lot older, but Vegas gets a lot of, like, you know, Vegas has been growing very fast over the past 30 years or so.
Everyone knows the best place to invest in right now is somewhere with an arid, warm climate.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Definitely not gonna run out of water. Lake Mead is fine. Don't look at it. Don't look at the whole bathtub ring there that's 40 feet above where the water level is now. It's cool.
I'm slowly chipping away at it.
What else have we got on this list of topics here? What was it like to join Spoiler Warning?
That's fun. I mean, obviously.
I'm trying to recall the exact circumstances wherein we... Because, like, so the first season was me, my friend Randy Johnson, no relation to the baseball pitcher, and Seamus, obviously. And then Randy bowed out after the first season. We brought in you.
Yeah, I got the email.
I think it was just like...
the wording of the email was something like, would you like to join our team? We can promise you absolutely no money and no particular exposure to speak of. And I was really delighted, to be honest. I was very chuffed. I remain chuffed.
And then Chris, we explicitly invited because of his Half-Life 2 video.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't even like that video anymore. I distinctly remember because I was in the airport getting ready to fly home when I got the email from Seamus asking me to come be a guest on the show. And I don't know what I was ever fully brought on as full-time staff. But, like, I guess I've just been a guest for 12 years.
Well,
I mean, it turns out all you need to do...
The impetus, I think, was... No, go ahead.
Oh, no, please. I didn't know where I was going with that.
The impetus, I think, was like Mumbles didn't want to do Deus Ex Human Revolution, and we wanted to bring in a fourth person because we liked the dynamic of 4 people. So we were like, why not bring in this guy with his, like,
Half-Life 2
was bad, actually video.
We chatted mumbled lately about our respective projects we're working on. It's been pretty fun.
Oh, that's neat. You got because you're both doing like indie games now, right?
I don't want to get too much into what she's working on in case it's something that she's holding on to. I actually
right.
Have no
I honestly don't know, but like
point.
she has published like she's put out a few little games.
Yeah,
now,
like Bitsy.
So yeah.
Motherfuck. He's styling on me by 30 points. This will not stand. Fucking fake Rasta bot. Go back to the Canadian music scene.
And Chris, you actually joined mid-season, as I recall. We were like 4 or 5 episodes in.
We were in the warehouse about to go over to... I can't remember where we were. We were after most of the first run of the Detroit stuff.
Yeah.
If I recall.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I did not know when to speak up. I was very
Yes!
awkward.
You were super shy and, like, did not say anything for minutes on end for the first, like... it took you a while to get over that, actually. Like, I think, like, most of Deus Ex
you're still
was,
somewhat shy, to be honest.
Chris is here? I don't know. Chris has definitely gotten a lot more comfortable with saying dumb stuff like the rest of us.
I mean, I say dumb stuff all the time.
It turns out there's no
for.
actual litmus test for creating internet content, which is probably the main problem now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went with litmus test. Like, what, we're gonna measure the pH of people making internet content? Oh, sorry, too basic.
I mean, that's been the slang for actually a shockingly long time. Did you even like? Did you ever use litmus strips in school? Did they ever do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, what else are they gonna do?
I wonder if they still do that.
We're not testing pharmaceuticals.
For those who have no idea what a litmus strip is, it's a little it's a little piece of paper that is treated with different like pigments that will react with either acids or bases to change the color of it. So you can stick it in the solution and tell whether it's acidic or basic.
It has been nearly 20 years since I've done this, but I actually have some recollection that when I did this, I did manage to screw it up somehow.
I'm just confused why we're explaining it to kids, because litmus strips are still a thing, and I can't think of any other way to measure the pH of something easily. Like, do they just not teach alkaline and basic stuff and acids?
This current state of the United States is distinctly possible.
The way you test the acidity of something these days is you say, eat it or no balls to whoever's next to you. Aha, and now my master play.
Round of applause for Red Scarn, please.
Yeah, alright. Treading water. Oh, thanks.
Damn it.
Oh, if it makes you feel any better, I'm 1 point ahead of the bot.
And the bot's only won once.
Sorry, wait. Okay, hang on. Okay. Who played that +2?
Is that just like the first card that goes out that that defines what the suit is will count if it's a draw card against whoever's supposed to go first. I did not really join Spoiler Warning so much as I originated the idea and pitched it to Seamus until he said, yeah, let's do it.
What has been the major impact that it's had on your life, would you say?
I mean, I'm like D-tier internet famous. That's kind of weird.
It's come in handy once or twice.
Yeah, but like,
I do mean like, once or twice.
Every so often I run into creators that I like and they like have watched my show, and that's a very strange thing. Like Bunlith on Twitter watches Spoiler Warning, is a Spoiler Warning fan, which is really weird. Because her stuff is really cool, and I'm like, man, what are you talking about?
Why watch this show?
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, you know, to be clear, here's how I think about Spoiler Warning, actually. In all sincerity.
Damn it.
What just happened? What was that exclamation point?
Totally,
he
didn't say Uno. Totally unnecessary, too, because I was going to win anyway. Oh. I guess it gives me slightly more points.
Yeah, wow, you cleaned the fuck up. Holy shit.
I think I drew like two cards that whole round.
In all sincerity, here's what I feel about it. Spoiler warning. When it comes to like every movement or in media, every kind of like creator-led grassroots movement, like in terms of music, in terms of art, in terms of like film, like throughout the years, there's kind of like some initial experiments, and then there's like maybe one or two hits relative to the size of the pond. And then what you get is a huge influx of like garage bands. Like everybody sees like Nirvana and starts their own band. Everybody sees Led Zeppelin starts their own band. You know, everybody sees L7 and like starts their own band. We are a garage band, is what we are. Like, we are somebody who was in the scene when it was emerging, and who stuck with it, and we have our fans, we have our little stage, we have our little niche, and we're fine there, because we've been doing this for the love of the game. And it's cool that we're all here together. It's basically punk rock.
Yeah, I think I would be... I don't think Spoiler Warning would have survived. Fuck it, why not? I don't think Spoiler Warning would have survived as long as it had if I had decided to try to like make a go of it and make it like, oh, this is what I do for a living. Even like aside from the complications of like, oh, I'm trying to make a living on a show where like I am one of 4 or 5 or 6 voices, you know?
It is also easy to look back retrospectively on the last 15 years and see how many times the cheese was moved. Like, how many times the business model of making content creation for video games was completely, like, inverted and turned upside down and shaken up, and, like, no. We were never going to keep up with half of those sea changes. Like, we're basically just still making freelance astronauts, like... Justin TV style shit in 2025, and that's fine. That's cool. Again, I actually think it's kind of badass that we've resolutely refused to pursue any kind of success whatsoever.
Yeah. I recently had a friend of mine, a former coworker, reach out to me about like, you know, hey, what do you know about like doing YouTube sponsorships for like my cousin's show that they're doing or something. I was like, well, I don't really know anything about it because we've never had sponsors. And I never ever want to have to do an ad read for this show. I would die inside.
I mean, there's not a lot of things that you can... My secret opinion is there's not actually a lot of things you could do an ad read for and feel good about yourself in general on the internet.
No, probably not.
Most of the stuff that advertise in our spectrum are, I would consider it on the level of like advertising cigarettes.
Yeah, you know, and like ethically it's very complicated too, because like, you know, it's how the system works. You can't make money doing this without doing that for the most part. You used to be able to do it with just YouTube like ad rolls, but that's been dead for like 5 or 6 years now.
The name of the game is that if you're creating content, you're a pitch man for mattresses or
shady online. Yeah, exactly. Shady online therapy
by Honey, aren't we?
No. Come at me. Honey sucks.
But like I'm not meaning like that to say that like, oh well, anyone who does ad reads for sponsors for anything is like, you know, inherently ethically compromised, because that's just the way it is. Like, you can't, you know, it sucks. I think most people would agree they prefer not to have to do ad reads, but if you're doing this for a living, that's just the way it goes.
I think that, you know, you can still enjoy media that is sponsor supported, but you really need to be at home with that reality. Like, don't try to excuse the nature of the sponsor just because you like the creator. Just accept, like, yeah, these podcasters are my very favorite mattress pitchmen.
Yeah. I wanted to clarify, by the way, I said Bunlith on Twitter. Bunlith, developer of Nightmare Cart, previously Bloodborne Cart, until copyright shit happened.
I had no idea about that. Hey, shout out.
Yes.
Yeah, that stuff's sick as fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
my own personal, if you know, don't mind the shout out, was I actually read Nodwick and PS238 and like the various other like Aaron Williams comics before I realized that he was a 20-sided reader and then spoiler warning viewer.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think people have described this as like the inside baseball of video game, like YouTube, which is a very weird, but also generous. Kind of, yeah, like, but we do know some people, like,
secretly, you know, I say secretly, we have actually rubbed shoulders with much more influential people than you would necessarily think, just having watched our 300 viewers per episode videos.
It's very bizarre.
You know, it's actively weird. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Yeah. Here you go, Rutskin.
Here.
No.
There's also several creators that I got really into who would like guest stars on some of our media relatively early in their careers, or you know, in the middle or late, and they were just very nice.
I'm sorry, Josh.
So this is how it is, huh? This is what becomes of me.
Let me put it this way. I don't think there's like gonna be a Magnificent Seven moment where like where somebody like calls up the spoiler warning crew to take the big stage and suddenly we need to like drill the asteroid to save the Earth. Like that's not where this is going. That is not the story arc. But you know, it's nice. It's cool.
Oh, I wanted to go.
That's it. I mean, if you do like need those people, I guess feel free to call us. We're not actually averse to more popularity. We just have no particular interest to actively pursue it, as thankless as that would be.
We're gonna lose to the robot.
I mean, hey, you know, it's all in the game.
We cannot lose the whole fucking match to the robot again for a second time in a row.
We absolutely can. We absolutely will. Continue.
see Chris doesn't like me very much anymore, apparently.
I think the most
Okay. Is that the first time the AI is challenged?
No, it's the second time.
Okay, when it challenged last time, was it correct?
I don't remember. Maybe. No, I think it was wrong.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was testing the AI to be fair, so I guess I just didn't get the result I wanted, which was that I would.
I do think the AI does like I know the AI will occasionally not call Uno like a player does.
I mean, that's
which serves to make the AI
if it didn't have that feature,
I mentioned
that would actually be pretty lazy. I say lazy.
I mentioned the Clubhouse game's version of this, and in that one, the AI never fails to call Uno, or last card as it's called in that game, which does feel like, because you always have to push a button to do it, and they just automatically do it, which makes it feel like, well, okay, this is just a thing that fucks with me sometimes.
It is not actually hard to give an AI an insuperable advantage at Uno.
Yeah.
Like, I feel pretty fucking confident that you could game out Uno, like, in a brisk afternoon, if that's your bag, where you just have an AI that performs as good as a human being possibly could. Yeah, well, that's how you do it.
Chris fucking smoked us there.
Yeah. You are not close to catching up to the AI, but that's okay.
Chris isn't too far off. He's like 50 points behind.
That's a lot of game.
That's 10%.
50 points to 350, that's like...
No, it's 500.
10%.
500 to win. Sorry, 10%,
right, 10%
of the
total. Yeah, okay.
I'm already kind of living in the future where the AI beat us again, so I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, you know what?
You've come back to warn us that we're gonna lose.
You're bullshit. No. Okay. No.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
No.
You need to defeat this AI because it turns out that this AI winning this game of Uno is the butterfly effect event that caused the destruction of the world. Oh, thank goodness you've defeated them. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it turns out we're completely wrong about that. We're screwed anyway. Sorry.
Isn't that literally a whole plot line in Control-Alt-Delete?
Did you just fucking ask me a question about the Control-Alt-Delete board?
I did.
Sorry,
I feel like you just accused me of a salacious act. I mean, if you asked about Homestuck, I at least read Homestuck.
I honestly don't know anyone who did read Control-Alt-Delete. Like it somehow became popular.
I read it. I read it up to a point because I read every webcomic for my teen years. I read all of them, every single webcomic. Name a webcomic. I probably read at least a few pages of it. One thing, by the way, that's very funny to me is that there's two kinds of webs. You know how, like, there used to be these webcomic registries where, like, you would...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it turns out those actually still do exist, and there's exactly two kinds of webcomic. One is the same pseudo-manga-styled, slightly NSFW, like elves and fairies, and maybe, like, some furry stuff thrown in there for spice, like, kind of
that's just, like, every
really
fucking...
popular. That was every webcomic for a while. Like, yeah, and they've just still been running. They've just still been going, still been updating. They have like archives of 1 billion pages. That's one kind. The other kind is exactly the same thing, but it started yesterday.
else have we got here?
Awful fucking early to play fuck games, huh?
Oh, you want?
Oh god.
Ouch. What game did you always want to cover?
Man, I don't even know if I can remember half of the games we played.
There are.
To be honest with you,
that is not an uncommon thing to happen where we sit and go,
yes.
Did we cover that game? Did we? Was there a season? No, we streamed it once, but yeah.
Full disclosure, I actually don't really care which game we're playing these days unless it's like we've been playing Starfield for 50 episodes and I desperately need to look at anything else.
That was terrible after we'd been playing it for fucking 6 episodes and it just kept getting worse.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring this up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
go ahead. I was just gonna say I was gonna bring this up earlier. Like in terms of like the worst memories of being on spoiler warning, I don't know why you all think that Starfield was that bad, because I remember being on stage for the Vikings and Alan Wake 2, and every one of us was done at that point. We were miserable.
You mean Alan Wake 1?
Or Alan Wake 1. Alan Wake 1.
2.
You know what it is.
Should do Alan Wake 2.
I really need to replay Alan Wake 1 so I can play Alan Wake 2. I should probably also play Control.
The problem is, if we play Alan Wake 2, there's going to be enough full frontal nudity that you're going to have to use my stupid face again to cover up all the naughty bits.
Do we even care anymore? Like, what actually would happen to us if we just put dicks on YouTube?
No, YouTube has gotten a lot more lax about that shit, as long as it's not like a for kids video. I don't know.
Which... like, I'm sure it would affect monetization, but, like...
Well, we don't monetize our shit, so...
Yeah. That's what the Patreon's for. I'm pretty sure if we turned on monetization, they would start charging us.
We probably don't break even on YouTube's end, actually.
Yeah, I'm very happy to think that we're costing Google money.
Oh, well, you just had to go and do that, didn't you? Guys, we can't let the AI win again. Chris!
So help me God if the AI has blue.
Do something, Rutskarn!
Nope.
Oh, thank God. Okay, they want yellow.
You're saying?
I should have challenged it on principle, but...
I hope you have something that can change the suit color here. Oh, damn it. Oh, God.
Insult to injury, too. That's additional points, actually. Yeah, there it is.
Right. All right. 501.
What's our time? We're gonna do another one?
I think we can keep going. I mean, we're at like an hour 15, but if we're doing...
It's
absolutely.
Anniversary. Let's just do another one. I'm in his bathroom. I'll be back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, then I should not have go.
Yeah, we're on a timer here, so I guess...
Okay, there. Did that pause it for everyone?
I guess. I don't know. We'll see if
I hit escape.
Countdown. But I was able to play. No, it did not pause for everyone.
It says pause when I... Oh my God. Alright, if I hit escape, what does it do? Can I just block the game from everyone else being able to play it if I played this online?
I don't know. No, you're counting down now.
I mean, Whatever. I stay winning apparently because I don't even know if it got to my turn.
You once. Are you back now?
Never mind then. Well, yeah. I mean, I am back. I mean, that is why you're hearing my human voice at this moment.
I don't know if you like noticed and had to rush back.
I noticed and I did not rush back. I noticed and I just took my fucking time. I like stopped to sniff a small flower that was growing from the carpet on my way here.
So what games? Okay, I've been thinking about it would be cool to do something with Guild Wars 1. One of my favorite fucking video games, and exists in this sort of weird space where, like, it did a bunch of really interesting stuff that no other game copied. To an extent, it presaged things like... Go ahead.
Oh, it was the original free-to-play MMO, for one thing.
Yes.
Probably not the original, but don't. Also,
I mean, not free to play, but like
you didn't subscribe to it.
Yeah, it was like other video games at the time. Yeah.
The fact that you went to a video game store and you bought a box copy, but then you didn't have to play every month to play it online, to do the online MMORPG gameplay, was fairly novel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it was like the first game to do that. I'm actually positive it wasn't. I mean, like, if you're getting into mud territory, it's a question of, like, did you even pay for those ever?
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Except in terms of bandwidth costs, which were exorbitant at the time.
On the other hand, there were things like the original Neverwinter Nights cost, like, $10 an hour to play or some ridiculous thing, or, like, $15 a day or something.
Yeah, like, it was a question of, like...
And
not
I should specify... When I say the original Neverwinter Nights, I'm not talking about the BioWare game. I'm talking about the game that came out in like 1992 and was basically like a proto-MMO MUD thing.
Tim K in one of his videos recently was talking about a
MUD with
graphics. MUD is, by the way, multi-user dungeon. It's like, what if a text-based adventure was an MMO? And... you can still play several of them. Most of them aren't any good. But there was one game that was like this dates it almost exactly to when this was happening. The way it worked out was the way a lot of MUDs worked out was that at the time they got popular. Popular is an exaggeration. It was actually kind of impossible for anybody to, like... Oh, nice catch. It was impossible for anybody to play an online video game unless they were, like, at a university currently and actively, for the most part. So, like, that informed the culture of the MUDs.
Are you going to select what you're going to do here, Rutskarn? Okay.
Yeah, eventually. I
kind of just felt like spinning
the wheel, I guess.
Yes, no, damn it. This whole round I've just been getting...
That was the right decision.
Chris did 2 of these to me, you did 1.
But,
yeah, and like when we're talking about MUDs, we're talking about like, oh, like... the server has a phone line that you have to call into.
Well, the nature of it, what I was getting into, the game Tim Kaine was talking about actually allowed you, once you hit a certain level, your character became immortal, and also you could just use like a front-end scripting language to write your own content for the game. Like, you could literally just program anything you wanted in an experience. He's talking about, I think it was either him or somebody else, like, went into somebody's wizard tower and created a Terminator that would go around asking people if they're Sarah Connor and attacking them if there were.
I mean, that is the sort of thing you want to do in a wizard tower, to be honest.
Yeah, it was, great times, great shenanigans. Obviously, if this feature were available in literally any online experience of any kind today, it would become a nightmare of Sodom and Gomorrah proportions instantaneously.
I mean, it often did, even back then, like...
Yeah, it's just that,
it's just less people were exposed to it.
It was like, it was on the level of peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
Like, it's this, like, people were doing things to each other that they would probably do if they were in the same room. And it was just down as the culture.
Chris?
Hi.
I'm resigned to it at this point.
I hope so.
I haven't drawn one of those cards in like 4 rounds.
Josh. Oh, god damn it.
What?
Nothing.
What the fuck did I do?
I was gonna say, Josh, I'm sorry, and then play the other +4 card I have, but hitting Control just made it pick the default, which was take a card from the fucking stack.
Wait a minute, hold up. No!
See, this is the thing about the video game version of this that's actually kind of interesting. Is that each of us has made, at this point, each of us has made a catastrophic misplay on the level of, like, if this happened while you're playing the card-based Uno, your friends would ask you to get a CAT scan.
Oh, it's fucking time for gin.
Also, it's time for Josh to play a card.
I want to be the one throwing cards at you, not the other way around.
Okay.
Brought my fucking cocktail shaker up here so I can do this.
Oh, alright. What's you shaking up?
Fucking live.
Are you about to get roasted by people claiming that you're bruising the gin?
No, I've got a gin, Beefeater 24, and some fucking diet tonic water.
What is bruising the gin?
I don't know.
If you
I was just going with it, assuming that
so,
it'd make me sound cool.
The 2 things that you can do with an alcohol to make it cold, with ice, without having just a shitload of ice in the drink and doing it quickly in bartending, or you can put it in a shaker and you can shake it, which will agitate it with the ice, but also fill it with lots of like little ice shards, or you can, and like little micro bubbles, or you can stir it, which is less disruptive to the structure of what's in it. But, you know, some people actually like the cloudiness, or, like, the general rule of thumb is, certainly if there's anything carbonated, you don't want to shake it, because it's gonna, like, kill the bubbles. Although, my personal opinion is, you also don't want to stir it, you just want to pour it over.
Yeah, well, my thing was I needed to bring something with a bunch of ice up here that would last long enough for me to get through my coffee.
But there
so
are
I
a lot of
people
people
make it beforehand.
There are a lot of people who claim that something technical happens on the chemical level when you shake gin that makes it less appealing.
I thought that was absinthe.
No, it's gin. The general.
No, you know what? Absinthe clouds up when you add like water to it. Is what it is.
Right.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, just like the consensus I've seen for bartenders is that the main reason you don't want to shake a gin cocktail is that gin cocktails tend to be very clear, such as martinis, and that there tends not to be actually a lot of things in them. So if you shake it, it gets really cloudy, and it just doesn't look very appealing, as opposed to the nice, like, clear purity of a martini as it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, I shook this, and it's clear, so...
Yeah,
I didn't shake it very much, but...
Yeah, the other thing is that, like, if you're quote-unquote properly shaking a drink, you kind of need to shake it for, like... God damn it. I think you need to shake it, like, something like a minute is the standard amount of time.
Yeah.
Until there's frost on the outside of the shaker. But in practical terms, if you're just making a drink for yourself, you could get away with a lot of shit. Like it's still cold. It's not like
it's just a gin and tonic. Like if I'll go through the process of properly doing a cocktail and I'm making like a fucking Manhattan or whatever, but it's literally just gin and tonic water.
The secret is that all of this stuff is only relevant if angry drunk people are paying money for the drinks. Like, the reason you don't shake a gin cocktail is you don't want to get shanked by a guy who hates James Bond.
What is the fucking James Bond cocktail? I remember the anecdote about it being like, what's his face? Whoever wrote James Bond inventing this cocktail without ever, Fleming inventing this cocktail without ever having actually made it, and then making it once and going, oh, I invented a terrible cocktail. But I've never actually, like, I don't remember what the ingredients are for it, and I have never tried one, so it's some kind of martini.
Like, vodka martini shaken, not stirred, which, by the way, a vodka is not generally the drink you use for a martini. That's one thing. This is one thing where, like, Ian Fleming didn't actually, he was not a gourmand, he didn't give a shit about any of this. But the Vesper, which is a drink that was named after Vesper Lynn, was gin, or I think gin, vodka, Kina Lillet, which is Lillet Blanc, and orange peel. And the thing is, like, the Kina Lillet, I don't think you can literally buy anymore. So people just use Lillet Blanc instead, is my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not actually that, like... Oh, god damn it, motherfucker. Okay, it's only won once. I'm not that into cocktail. Like, I like some cocktails, but I'm not, like, a huge... Like, I'm not always... My brother drinks cocktails all the time. I often am just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna put some ice in the glass, and I'm gonna pour some whiskey over it.
Yeah, but, you know, I actually am of the... my position on it is, I like literally everything. Even if I don't enjoy the taste of something, I like the experience of drinking a drink that is not immediately appealing. Like, I find it, like...
Yeah.
I guess the way I'd put it is that, like, I actually don't think, like, I have a lot of trouble eating food that I find really unappealing, but I have no trouble at all with drinks I find unappealing. Drinks, if I don't love the flavor, I find it interesting in the same way that I find most new experiences interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll drink anything. I do, when it comes to, like, what do I enjoy, my most gratuitous favorite drink is a painkiller. But honestly, if I'm just mixing up, if I'm just throwing something together, bourbon with, like, one big ice cube is probably my go-to. I like Woodford Reserve.
Woodford is good. That's a favorite of Glitch. I honestly have reverted to the roots, and I just like the higher end Jack Daniels now.
You know what? Like
the single
there's
barrel.
There's a reason they sell so much fucking Jack Daniels.
Yeah, like the normal Jack Daniels is not the best, but it's all. I still
normal
find
Jack
it
Daniels is the
drinkable.
is the Pepsi Cola of alcohol.
Would it be the Coca-Cola? I mean, what other? At least in the U.S., what other thing is more popular than Jack? Like,
yeah, I guess in terms of, I was just basically describing it in terms of how pleasing it is to the connoisseur, but
sure,
like,
yeah,
yeah, in terms of, like, sales and stuff, yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the sales, then, what would be the Pepsi?
My guess is Smirnoff. Or Fireball.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, one of the... Probably Smirnoff.
You ever have
high-end vodkas are weird to me. Malort? No, I don't think so.
Those of you who are unaware. Yeah, a party guest once described it, I'll never forget her words, tastes like doctor's office. But yeah, it's for those of you who are not in the know, it's the unofficial liquor of Chicago, and it's based on wormwood, which means it is unbearably bitter. It definitely tastes like a sanitizer, and the no bullshit reason why it tastes like that is that the guy who invented it smoked so many fucking cigars that he deep fried his taste buds and couldn't taste it unless it was horrible.
That actually doesn't sound unappealing. I like bitter flavors, so...
I encourage you to give it a shot.
Yeah. I've got some Akavit downstairs, which is a Scandinavian... Kind of like a Scandinavian gin. It's clear, and it's seasoned with herbs, but the herbs are like dill and caraway seeds, so it's It's not like drinking pickle juice because it doesn't have like the sourness of the vinegar, but it's like it's got those herby flavors that you don't associate with like drinks very much.
I now kind of want a bourbon, and to get one, I'm going to have to run.
Okay.
So here's the play. Next time it's my turn, I make my move, and then we'll see if I make it back before my turn expires. Ready?
We'll try to delay as long as possible on our end.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
We got a vamp. Vamp, Josh, vamp. Sing a song.
What? No, you do it. You suggested it.
No, I mean, we just need to vamp, right? We just need to fill stage time with banter and comedy? Question mark. Would it be better to change shoots? No, I hit control. God damn it! My push to talk key should not be.
Chris.
God damn it!
Oh well, it skipped Rutscar and we're good. Because he got hit with a skip card. Another
okay,
lease
well,
on
when
life.
it becomes my turn, I can't talk. So goodbye for the next.
Well,
couple seconds.
actually, you won't have that problem either.
Oh my god.
I'm back. I missed the.
This is the stupidest. This was the stupidest 30 seconds.
Carded twice. It has not come back to you yet.
It was very dumb.
Have fun with that.
I don't wanna. The music's really kicking off with the jazz, though, now.
Rutscarn. I have to challenge that, even though I'm sure... No? Okay, alright, excellent. I win.
Enjoy it. You also got a point boost off that.
Yeah. Not nearly enough, but it was something. Right, I was talking about Guild Wars. What game did you want to cover? Yeah, Guild Wars 1 is a weird one, because it kind of presages, to an extent, like... Destiny and games like that. What, did you want to talk about your favorite cocktails, Chris?
No, I was going to say is we're going to end up cutting this out. You're going to have a 25-minute section of talking about booze that you have to excise in between your Guild Wars statements, but continue.
No, I mean, come on, it's a freeform fucking, yeah. Fuck. For the record, Rutscarn, Chris has mostly red cards. Which may technically be cheating for me to say that, but I'm so tired of you hitting me with those fucking +4 cards.
If my hands were better, I wouldn't have to. I could just play and move on. See, I had to pull a thing there.
But like, and the thing you might be thinking if you're not familiar with Guild Wars is like, well, they made Guild Wars 2, right? But Guild Wars 2 is very much a completely different game. Guild Wars 1 is, and this was probably deliberate, well, not deliberate, well, yes, deliberate, but like as a result of the history of the developers, it's more like Diablo 2 online almost, like the Diablo 2 multiplayer, than it is an MMO in certain ways, and many of the devs came from like whatever fucking Blizzard studio it was that made Diablo 2. But like the game, all of the areas where you like do combat and stuff are instanced just for you and your party, and then you go around to like social hubs, which are where you can see other players and group up with them and like get quests and sell stuff. And that was part of the reason why the game was able to do like free to play, well, no subscription gameplay, because like it wasn't going through the trouble of doing the incredibly server-heavy process of simulating a whole open world that you can just run into any player at any time in. Those are just the social areas. And the game also had a really interesting skill system that is more deck builder than anything else. Like, so you've got classes. Your classes are called professions. And you can have a primary profession, which is like your class. You cannot change this. It defines like what kind of armor you get and what kind of skins for the armor you get and so on, your appearance and so on. But you can also have a secondary class, and that secondary class can be chosen from any of the other classes as long as you've unlocked them. And then you have attributes, which are not like strength dex or whatever. They're associated with different skill trees. So like an elementalist has fire magic and water magic and earth magic and so on. And those affect skills that are associated with that attribute. They basically make the numbers go up on those skills. And you have hundreds of those skills, like, per class. Like, you know, several dozen per attribute, spread across the multiple campaigns that they released. And you can only equip 8 skills at a time. You can change these at any time inside an outpost. And so you build up this like deck, basically this hand of different abilities sourced from your class and any secondary profession that you chose, and build this system where different things interact in different ways, in really interesting ways. Like there's this this really silly build that was used for farming and stuff, where there is this monk protection spell called Protective Spirit. And what it does basically is it makes it so that no single damage packet can do more than 10% of your maximum health. And they combined this with a series of items that you could equip. Like basically you would load yourself up with all of the items possible that reduce your maximum health until you got it down to 55 HP. And so at 55 HP, due to rounding stuff, no attack can do more than 5 damage to you at any given time. And then you load up on health regeneration, which is like a fixed amount of HP being restored per like pip of health regeneration. And so you end up in a situation where you run around with this buff on you constantly, and you can only take very slight damage that's immediately regenerated by your regeneration spells. And this was used for like farming, where you'd also pair it with like stuff that would either do AoE damage naturally or like reflect AoE damage onto monsters or whatever, and basically be invincible. Lots of really silly shit like that. You cannot you can't do that in a video game, like in an MMO nowadays. Like they wouldn't put that kind of, that degree of interactivity and that amount of like weirdness would never be allowed in like World of Warcraft. You would never have a build that weird. But you could do that in Guild Wars. And then Guild Wars 2 came out, and it was open world. There's really not there were some skill switch outs, but your basic skills are all just kind of set by the weapon that you're using. And it's much more World of Warcrafty in terms of its systems, which burned a lot of fans of Guild Wars, including myself. I like Guild Wars 2, but it did not fulfill that hole in my heart that is, I wish they were still making Guild Wars 1 stuff. Now, to its credit, Guild Wars 1 has been maintained in maintenance mode for a very long time and very well. You can still go and play it right now. There's no indication that will change anytime soon. Sadly, it doesn't really get new content anymore, but
Well, you say that. Guild Wars 2 at least got an expansion pack last year, apparently.
Oh, yeah. They're still doing stuff with Guild Wars 2, and I think there's a rumor around that they're doing Guild Wars, like Guild Wars 3 is in development at NCSoft, at ArenaNet.
Chris, by the way, if you get to 500, I think we can all agree you're the winner.
All right.
But yeah, that's a game I like to do. I think we could probably do something with it on Spoiler Warning, because it is a thing where you can kind of play that game solo. Or we could do it where like, you guys also have characters and go into it too. And there is like, it does play a lot more like Diablo too, in that like there is like story content that you can just kind of follow. There's not really any grinding. I mean, there is grinding,
my
but it's
suggestion
for, like,
of Erotic
cosmetics.
Monopoly.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that is the other side of this coin. What game did you guys always want to cover?
Uno.
Okay, well we did that.
I'm living the dream.
Again, I will say that I don't even... I wouldn't say that I have one. I think I'm fairly indifferent to what game we're playing. I just enjoy the experience of making the show.
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if I have less to say about it, that kind of becomes the challenge, right?
Yeah. Why would you?
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure
I'd
have much to talk about during the furry lesbian RPG, but I think we got a lot of great commentary out of that.
Yeah, turns out.
Yeah, it was very interesting to discuss.
This is bullshit. There's no reason Josh should be this close to me in one game for no reason.
Yeah, the scoring system is very obscure here.
Well, you guys all.
I would say actually, can I actually say, you know, even like from the fact that I had to recover the credentials to my Ubisoft account, which were sent directly to my spam folder, by the way, this has been an oddly hostile experience in terms of the actual user interface. I'm pretty sure there was a cereal box version of Uno in like 2001 that was more fun than, like, more streamlined than this. Which, by the way, I want to reiterate, I actually find a lot of the weird UI decisions in this game very charming. But, you know, it needs to be said, it's not very slick.
Yeah, the game's interface feels weirdly overwrought.
I wonder what the direction was as far as the background track for Uno. Because they've arrived at like a marimba kind of like atmospheric thing that feels like it's from like a adventure game from the 90s.
It's giving very SimCity vibes. I feel like this is like SimCity 3000 era, like off jazz kind of shit. What about you, Chris? Any game burning a hole? Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say the whole aesthetic of this game to me is those, you know, circa 2006 to 2008 Xbox Live Arcade games where all the interface was intentionally real bubbly and big so that you could see it on your HDTV, because there was a lot of criticism that people couldn't read HDTVs, so...
And nowadays the Switch has just games with incredibly tiny font sizes I can't even read on the goddamn screen. I haven't even noticed
that like the Chaos gem on which we are playing is surrounded by the card dimension.
Yes.
Like, I feel like if I didn't have Uno on the Xbox 360, I had something like this.
You know what this is? Uno. This is Uno? Shockingly Frutiger Arrow. For those like unaware, Frutiger Arrow is the name for the like 2000s era UI where everything looked kind of crystallized and kind of like glossy.
Yeah.
Why do they call it that?
I used to know, and I don't anymore.
Okay, cool. Anyway, Chris, do you have any games you'd like to do burning a hole in your spoiler warning pocket?
Like Rutskarn, I don't really have a specific individual game I've always wanted to do. I do wish we could have cracked the code on how to do like smaller, shorter games, and we've gone over why that doesn't work for the show, because like it doesn't work if we're gonna do only a little bit of games, and we're not doing a full Let's Play. Oh god, I'm stuck. Then we're just going to be doing the tutorial levels, and doing a tour of other games' tutorial levels kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So
we'd have to pre-plan it in advance if we're doing that, to just like, I got to get through that game to the point where, you know, we want to go for.
Yeah, I mean, we've never made it workable, and that sucks. But also, like, there are reasons it's not workable.
I guess the spoiler warning white whale will be a LARP.
Get everyone together, fly them all out.
I will say,
we've come to you at Halloween
my
Horror
definition
Nights.
of LARP does not require in-person interaction.
Okay.
This is a misconception. Like I say, a misconception. This is a semantic point that I think the definition of a LARP is somewhat different depending on how deep in the paint you are with certain kinds of LARPs, which I'm fairly deep in those paints. The short way I would actually differentiate a LARP from a tabletop role-playing game is not so much to do with like costumes or staging. It's a question of, in a tabletop game, there is a collaborative story that is happening, being put together by people who are expected to spend most of their time outside of the moment. Whereas a LARP, players are expected to spend most of their time inside the moment.
What is happening now?
Here's how I would summarize it, right?
Yeah.
In a tabletop game, I'm having a conversation with an NPC, I'm gonna stop and kind of meta narrate, like, oh, you know, I'm leaning back, I'm doing this, or I'm gonna say, ooh, I don't like this deal, like, oh, he's gonna screw me again, I just know it, and the other players are gonna chime in, like, oh, you know, you should use the intimidate skill, like that sort of thing, like, everybody's kind of in it together. We could stop, take a bathroom break. In a LARP,
right?
If somebody says something to me, the expectation is that until I have something to say in character, the moment will be silent. And if no one is in character, if anyone wants to make a contribution, they should also make that contribution in character for the most part. There will be digressions where we will resort to the mechanics or where we will discuss something out of character. That's very much part of it. There will even be times we narrate. But things like silences and gestures and kind of body language are incorporated into the play rather than just being things that can be dropped onto the play like a spice.
Well, I feel like that opens you up to the obvious question, well, how do you do gestures and body language when you're not physically in the same location?
Glad you asked, because I'm in deep with the kinds of maniacs who have answered that question.
Oh boy.
I'm good friends with someone who ran a lot of influential LARPs in the LA area, and she at one point created a LARP that was played entirely within Soul Calibur.
Okay, so I can kind of see where you're going with this, kind of like MMO role playing.
Yeah, but a fighting game, basically.
Right.
And it's that there's interactions outside of that happening, in Zoom, between the Soul Calibur gameplay was not incidental. It's not like people were just sitting there until the timer ran out. It was the structure was that it's based around people who are arena combatants. But God
damn it, Chris.
The fighting game gameplay was not seen as a skill challenge that adjudicated who won and who lost. It was seen as an expression of the characters. So
right.
Deliberately losing was considered a perfectly valid and sometimes even encouraged option.
Yeah, kind of using that tool to express the characters and the narrative rather than some kind of skill challenge.
I believe the seed for this was that at one point there was a there was a LARP. There was a series of LARPs like that had arenas as a theme that were run, and I believe at one point the innovation was. Let's see. Okay, here we go. At one point, the innovation was, okay, we're going to have a bunch of Soul Calibur characters created to represent pit fighter NPCs, and there's a mechanic for betting on these matches because we're, like, greedy, rich assholes. Like, betting on their lives. And you would just set up matches with 2 bots and see who won.
So, all right, if you were to do that in spoiler warning, how would you set that up? Because, like, obviously you must have thought about this.
No, I actually have not thought about it at all. I just thought that was a funny interjection. To be honest, I don't think it would work out because specifically, like, for the specific reasons I just said, we are an analytics show. Like, we do analysis. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not in-depth analysis, even if we have digressions that last entire episodes, basically it is a critical show. Whereas this kind of LARP specifically cannot be critical unless that is in and of itself the LARP, which don't think I can't tie an Ouroboros together from that, but I don't know that it would be fun so much as kind of conceptually funny.
Yeah, like, it's not good, but it is interesting. I wonder if we could do an actual play with, like, you know, tools like Foundry.
Speaking of garage bands, I really have, even more so than spoiler warning, when it comes to, like, actual plays, that's where I have both like, I was, like, in the first wave of people doing that, like, street cred, and B, have absolutely zero recognition for it correctly. Because if you look up, like, the Wikipedia article for actual plays, the first cited examples they have were the same year we did Anti-Paladin.
Yeah.
At least streamed actual play.
You brought up back in, like, the Oblivion season that, like, you didn't really like watching actual plays because it's very much like, well, I'd rather just be there playing it. That's something that, like, it's weird too. Like, I don't like watching Let's Plays anymore. Like, I don't watch Let's Plays ever. With, like, a few small exceptions, which are usually just, like, clips of funny moments in streams or something. Like, you know, I'm not there to watch people play video games, even though, like, I run a show that's about people watching me play video games. I don't know if that's because we do it or I don't know.
The kind of content which it very quickly shook out that people did not want, like, compilations of the best moments for the most part. What they wanted was full playthroughs to fully digest, which is what we do, I guess, now. I was very much of the school of, like, I don't necessarily want to watch somebody play an entire video game. I don't necessarily get the thing out of that everybody else is getting out of it. There are exceptions when I find the creator, like, I find the combination of the person playing it and the game somewhat interesting, but even then I like to skip around a bit. One of my favorite long-form playthroughs in recent memory was Wooly and Reggie's playthrough of Disco Elysium. I felt like they brought a lot of really interesting commentary to the game, especially since a major theme of Disco Elysium is, like, race and immigration, and they're both Caribbean immigrants in Canada.
They would be a duo that I would think would have a really interesting take on a lot of that stuff.
Also, there's... Are you guys aware that in Disco Elysium, when you look at the caretaker, there's a visual calculus check to figure out what's wrong with her? Like what's going on, what's strange about the situation? And if you fail it, it says the only thing you can see about her is that she's a different skin color than you. You're gonna have to go with that. And the only dialogue option you have is just, you're black.
I have played zero Disco Elysium, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
I just clicked it cards. It didn't play for some reason.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, but like they got that, and there's just like a 10-second stony silence as they both stare and squirm in deep discomfort at their screens. Also, Wooly gets to be the supportive. Like he has a moment where like Kim claps back at a racist, and he says something like, "Yeah, you tell him, Kim." And he's like, "Yeah, man, it's great. I love being the supportive white friend. I've never had that opportunity before."
So is this just you're not gonna let me play cards? Okay, all right, fine.
I don't know what you want
I see
from me.
how it is.
I'm playing what I get. What do you need?
Nothing that's on the table right now.
I feel the need to stress this in case it is not transparent to every person even casually listening in on this. I'm not exaggerating when I say you could train a chimpanzee to play Uno the way I'm currently playing it.
You won the last two hands.
Yeah.
I think this says more about
sorry,
Uno
not
than
sorry.
it says about Rutskarn. Aww.
Damn it.
Oh my god, he's gonna win with whatever the strategy is.
But do I have a red card, or am I bluffing?
No, he has a red card. Fortunately.
Motherfucker. Oh, I actually thought for sure you had like a +4 or something.
Yes. No.
Okay, now Josh is the problem.
Rutskarn is still a potential problem here. Let's be honest.
I was bluffing about the red.
Okay. All right. We're doing this shit again. God damn it.
I don't know.
His last card is still a yellow.
God damn it. God damn it.
See how you like it, Chris. No more games for you ever. No,
we're never gonna get out of here. We're trapped in anniversary hell.
Like, it's the 15th time we've done this. We deserve it at this point.
Oh my god. Video games.
I want to use this on Chris, but... Somebody do a flip.
Did we lose Rutskarn?
No.
Yeah,
just trying to decide whether he wants to hit the challenge button.
I was just asking myself, like, what would Bubbles the chimpanzee do? And unfortunately, ripping people's faces off is not an option. I just decided that I wanted to do that.
Well, chimpanzee needs a lot of cards.
Am I off base, or has this actually been by far the longest game of Uno of the three of them?
Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on. No, the race to 500.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, that has taken a long time because like most of the wins have been like everybody had very few cards. I think you've won more hands than anyone else, Rutskarn. You're still behind me and Chris.
Yeah, this game makes no sense. Or presumably it does make sense, but I've chosen not to interpret it correctly.
I'm sorry. Okay, there you go.
Remember Hexic? That was a good puzzle game.
I actually don't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's pretty rare too.
It was the game I was thinking of, the one that launched with the Xbox 360 that you got for free.
Oh. I've never owned an Xbox.
Like, describe this video game. God damn it, Chris.
Sorry. Imagine like...
Oh no, it's cool.
Well, there you go. We're done! I don't have to describe Hexic!
No, you do! We can't...
Okay, it's a game by Alexei Pajitnov that where you... Basically, it's a match 3 game, except instead of a grid, it's a hexagon setup. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You and your hexagons.
It chills my blood that we've been unlocking things for a My Creator mode. What in God's green earth could that possibly be?
Let me look.
My design, there it is. Customize the look
Hamster
of your game.
Disconnected. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, real shit.
Oh, why am I in a game with 3 AI?
Because you made that choice.
Add-ons.
Okay, so like you could you could customize like there's different boards.
What? No.
I seem to have quite a lot of them. Some of them are Assassin's Creed themed one? What the shit?
I don't even know.
Yeah, and then the boards are where you play the game. Okay, so you can just customize aesthetically what it looks like.
We can move
Phoenix's
the
quest?
setting outside of fucking card heaven.
Phoenix's quest is a
Abstergo.
God, is an open world game from 2 or 3 years back. It was, I want to say it was a PS5 launch title. If not, it was close to release of the PS5. But yeah,
They have Assassin's Creed Uno cards.
Man, all these like special Uno decks, like this has the feeling of like you're in a doctor's office or some shit. And it's like some deck of Uno cards bounced off of at least 8 potential homes until it ended up here. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from these cards. If I ever sit down and play Uno and you put down a clay monster deck, I actually, yeah, I mean, I would just play Uno normally. I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay. Thanks for the update, Brutskarn.
There's a Dragon's Fire effect here that looks like it's a backdoor Yakuza.
I want Uno to be a mini game in the next Yakuza. Then you'll be forced to get good at it.
This actually, can I say, you say that, you know there's like poker and blackjack and shit in all those games, right?
Right.
Right. I actually genuinely have a degenerate strategy that I use to, because like often like there'll be really good items or really good like upgrades that are you require specifically like the chip currency to unlock, which you could just buy a shitload of chips, but it's more efficient in theory to just play the gambling mini games and do very well for yourself. Which I have a poker strategy that always works in the Yakuza games and always gets me the number of chips I need. You want to guess what it is?
Just hit the go button. Oh no, you probably all in every hand.
You can't all in every hand. However, you are correct in that the gameplay
poker
is always raise.
Yes.
If you literally always raise, the AI backs down enough times that in the long haul you profit. I mean, maybe I've just gotten phenomenally lucky every time I've tried it, but it seems to be working out for me.
If only Uno had bets.
Last time I did it, I had the pleasure of doing it in someone who was, like, morally offended by this strategy. And was, like, really, really rooting for it to not work. And that's when I unlocked the most expensive gun in the game. I say that, actually, you know how you unlock the most expensive gun in the historical Yakuza game is by chicken racing. And that is actually, like, believe it or not, the chicken racing minigame is so fucking convoluted and requires you to learn so much actual, like, degenerate gambler bullshit to succeed at it that it's sort of outrageous.
Do you actually actively control the chicken or anything? Or
you do not.
No, okay,
you have to look at chickens and look at their past performances in similar courses to infer how they will perform against competitors that have often never raced in exactly this course with these conditions. Then you need to look, but also, this is all factored in to their odds. So you need to specifically look for chickens who are, like, soft. Like, you need to look for a soft line. It's not just like, oh, you need to figure out which chicken is best. Like, again, that's factored into the rewards for winning. You need to, like, figure out which chicken is underrated.
It feels kind of like you could have honestly answered the what game do you want to play on spoiler warning with any of the Yakuza games.
Why would I do that to the Yakuza games? Did we do Yakuza 0 or something?
Alright. No, did we? No.
Well, not a whole season. I think we did like a one-off or something.
I played it while you were watching, but I think that was like you were at my house.
Oh, well, that did happen, yes. I wasn't talking about that.
Yeah, like... And I'm pretty sure that was Yakuza
like
0.
I've given like 6 different people a copy of Yakuza 0 over the years.
Yes.
I don't think a single one of them has finished it. Anyway, here's to our next season, Yakuza 0.
Yeah, hey,
here's to the next 15 years, so we can all get back together when we're 55.
The next 15 years are all our Yakuza 0 season. We're 100%ing it, baby. Let's go.
We're going to go to every town in Daggerfall. Every single one. And we're going to walk there. Whole months of episodes. Just us walking through the wilderness. It'll be great.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around for fucking 15 years. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. If there was anything you'd ask me to bet on 15 years ago as still being in my life, spoiler warning would be like the least.
Yeah, I would probably have bet on a few democratic institutions first, and not profitably.
Sure. No.